put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real rappers being real myself. Might not have to see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real rappers being real myself. Might not have to see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. All you have to buy is money. Like Kanye West said, having money is not everything, but not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 that God gives us the ability to create money. It's the love of money that's involved. You don't want money so much, why you get up and go to work for it? I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. That's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. Cortez.
Good morning, Black world, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning live with your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. It's truly an honor, a privilege, and a blessing to come to you live and direct from the Generational Wealth Building Conference Studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. Guys, still supporting my man, Evan, ERGJ Jefferson. When it comes to building Black wealth, man, there is nobody else out there, man, with a bigger heart for our community and trying to make it happen. That's why I'm proud to help to sponsor the Black Billionaires Club, Generational Wealth Building Conference going down in Atlanta, Georgia, April 6th through 8th. Guys, you got time to book your flight out there. You got time to get you a bus ticket out there. You got time, man, to really, we're trying to make history, man. We're trying to make financial literacy a priority in our community. And I know some people say, man, you should not focus on money. That's a load of crap, man. Anybody who tell you should not focus on money is someone who is either content and happy with where they are, or they've given up themselves, man, and they're trying to get you. Listen, same people will tell you don't focus on money, will tell you to go to school for 20 years so you can get a job and make pennies on a dollar off your own talent, gifts, and special abilities. So we want to make financial literacy a priority in the Black community. So the Generational Wealth Building Conference is going to have something for the babies. It's going to have something for the women, something for the men. And if you want to sponsor the event, if you want to help promote the event, they've got all sorts of ticket packages and prices. All you got to do is go to wealth.joincorteznow.com to get all the details, and you can click on the button right there and buy your tickets. Wealth.joincorteznow.com, and that takes you over to a page inside my website where it just kind of gives you the overview of the details on that. And I'm going to continue to add to that page as more and more things come to be. You're going to be able to see how you can participate in the entire event. I think there's a couple tickets left. $100 gets you into the entire event, or you can start buying those things a la carte, kind of one at a time. If you can't attend them all and you just want to go to and take the babies to the Youth Kids Summit, then you can do that. If you want to just deal with the women's only piece, then you can buy a ticket for that specifically. But they're working all of that stuff out, man. But go over to wealth.joincorteznow.com. And once you grab your ticket, hit the share link from the Eventbrite ticket purchasing section. So people know that you bought your ticket. They know that you're going, and you help us promote the event all the more. So I appreciate your support of that. And by the way, Evan is going to be on the show tomorrow, really breaking down what this event is going to be about and how it's all going to unfold, and what else is open. There may be one or two vendor spots available, but even if you can't vend, they have a program going out. So if you want to support in that way and get a business card size ad in the program, or you want to get a full page ad, things of that nature, all of that is going down, man. So you can help this event become very, very, very successful if you do that. Says we need to read autobiographies of great Black men and women. You are absolutely right, Alvin, man. And you know, and I think a lot of them need to self-publish too, because there's some great stories out there, and they're waiting on some publishing house to pick them up. Man, just tell your story and get it out there so people can follow. But do me a huge favor, if you're checking this out on YouTube, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you have not already subscribed to the channel. You guys know we do this every morning, and sometimes we do middays as well. So you want to be in the know. When you hit the subscribe button, that means you're going to get notified every time we go live with a new show or any additional uploads of videos that we bring to the table. You guys are going to be able to get notified of that. And then type in the chat where you're from and also the name of your brand on YouTube. And the same with you guys on Facebook. Do me that favor, man. You guys know the price of admission. The price of admission for this show is a simple share. Hit the share button and go ahead and get this out to more and more people. And then when you like, comment, and interact with the show, it lets Facebook know that we have a good quality program over here, and they'll push it out to more and more people. Today's show is also brought to you by the Black Wealth Movement, guys. We are serious about this Black wealth and this literacy movement, and we're trying to bring financial literacy, economic empowerment, and community development to the Black community. And I think that starts with each and every family becoming more financially aware and building their own independent wealth, and then that will spill over into doing greater things together and collectively in the community. But it's hard for me to be concerned about the fire that's burning down the community when I have a fire going on in my very own bedroom. So I want to help working class Americans get their money right in their households first, and then we can start focusing on the money problems that we have going on in the community. If you're interested in joining the Black Wealth Movement, it's not a free program. It's $35 to start. Roughly $50 per month to maintain your membership with us. And we will help you build wealth in 5 areas: entrepreneurship, tax minimization, debt elimination, credit education, and also asset accumulation / investing. So if you're interested in partnering with a group of people that will help you get all that stuff done, having some coaches and mentors in your life that can help you, then text Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. Again, text Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. I'd love to get you some additional information, or you can just go to moreinfo.joincorteznow.com. So we're talking about taxes, man. Yesterday, we talked about some crazy things that people do with their tax refund and gave some tips on some things that they should be doing that their future selves will thank them for. What's going on, personal economy coaches in the building? We're talking about, we talked about some things that your future self would thank you for that you can do with your tax refund. And I showed you guys, if you put $2,500 into an investment account that's paying 14% rate of return, and you just let it sit there for 40 years and do nothing else, don't put no more money in it, just the $2,500 one time. If you just got the gall to do that just one time, that will grow to $650,000 in 40 years. But why you say 40 years? Because you're going to put it in the name of your children, right? One of the babies might be 5, one of them might be 10, right? So when they're 50 years old, they got over $500,000. They've lived life, so when they get that money, they should be mature enough to know what to do with it, right? And then if they're smart, they will take that same out of that 650,000, they'll take 325,000 and leave it for their youngest child, and they can, you know, start a business with the other or whatever. But if that 325 stays and it continues to grow for another 20 years, it grows to over 10 million. So we've got to understand the word sacrifice in our community if we're going to transform, man. So you got these tax refunds coming, man. What if you just did that every year? You get $7,500 back every year. What if you took $2,500 every year and you put it into an account like that? Do one for each one of the children first. And then after that, start doing one for yourself every year. What will happen if you just did that, man? You'd be looking at a significantly more comfortable retirement if you did that. So today we're going to talk about couple different things. Number one, we're going to talk about this form right here, right? I know on Facebook it's backwards, right? But this is the form W-4. And each one of you filled out this form when you got your job, and it told your employer how much money to withhold from your paycheck to cover your tax liability. Most of you, without even knowing you, I know the statistics, most of you, 8 out of 10 of you, fill that form out wrong. And therefore, you're overpaying taxes. That's why you're getting such a big refund in the first place, right? What if instead of getting that big refund, you got that, instead, you got your money all year long and you got your debts paid down. You got your money all year long and you got your emergency fund built to the side. You got your money all year long. What's up, Tiffany and Monica? Thanks for joining the show. You guys on YouTube, just never chat with your boy, man. Let me know where you're from and also the name of the brand that you're building. And I saw a couple brands come up on Facebook, man, but you guys don't be afraid to say what your brand is. Glenda Fashion Crawford's, Faison Crawford's, The Adventures of Pumpkin Jackson is a book, a children's book. So you want to check that out. No links, Vincent. I see you put the link in there. I want people to know what you do. But if everybody start putting links in, it could get crazy. So we kind of don't do links, but give us the name of your brand. Negus Accountable Tax Solutions is in the building. All right, good deal, good deal. All right, so here we go. So if you haven't, please check out Cortez's book, Monetize My Life. We love. I appreciate that, Vincent. Yes, if you guys want, I have book bundles over at books.financialhealthmentor.com where you can get both of my books, Monetize My Life, as well as Financial Health Trust Report, and some other things, some coaching, some access to Monetize My Life Academy, and all that kind of stuff. But you guys fill this form out wrong. And let me just read to you the purpose of this form. The purpose of this form: complete form W-4 so that your employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from your pay. Consider completing a new form W-4 each year and when your personal or financial situations change. Let's do a poll real quick. How many of you guys checking in from I-75 Atlanta? Nate, you know I will be in the ATL on Friday, brother. Let's connect. Yeah, if you're not on the road, man. Let's do a poll real quick. How many of you have looked at this form again already for 2018? Right, the form W-4. Now it says you should revisit this form every year. How many of you guys have already looked at this form and said, hey, you know what? Last year, one of my children turned 25, graduated college, and no longer my responsibility. That's a personal situation change. That's a financial situation change. You should have looked at this form and seeing what kind of adjustments could have been made, right? Some of you guys had a baby for the first time or added a baby to the family last year, right? Did you go back and look at this form? It says every time your personal or financial situation changes, you should be looking to revisit this form. Every time. See, some people think that you can only change this form once a year or when you first get to your job. No, you can change this form as many times as your personal or life situation changes, right? Get a divorce. Did your life situation change? Get married. Did your life and financial situation change? Open an investment account. Did your financial situation change? Start a business. Did your financial situation change? Yes, 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 and yes. Right? How many of you guys are looking at this form at least once a year? Or were you like me? When I was on my job, it was, I fixed that mug once when I got hired, and then I did my state taxes. I kept owing. And then I fix it again and have them take more money out of my check because I didn't know any better. So you want to get this thing done right, but you want to revisit it every year and look at your situation. Your situation could be changing, right? There's a couple things on here that I really want to help people understand because they're missing out, and this is why people are overpaying their tax. Danielle said, nope. How long has it been, Danielle, since you looked at this form? Don't tell me since you got your job. been working. A lot of people, for me, I was working like 6 years before I adjusted it, and then another 6 years or another 4 years before I learned this information that I'm sharing with you today, and transform it and fix it correctly so that the right amount of taxes can come out of my check. But a lot of people just get this wrong. It says on line A, it says enter one for yourself if no one else can claim you, right? What's up, Joseph? Line B says enter one if you're single, if you're married and have only one job and your spouse does not work. These things are tripping people up. They just don't read the form. What they do is somebody told them to put 1 or 0 on this form and keep it moving, and they've been doing that their entire life. Well, guess what? When that person told you to put 1 or 0, that was correct, because chances are you didn't have any kids when you got your first job. You couldn't claim yourself because your parents were still claiming you if you got your first job when you was a teenager. So yeah, it made sense for you to put 1 or 0 on the form. But now that you're married, now that you got kids, now that you got investments, now that you got kids in college, now that you're paying daycare, all of that stuff affects this form, man. Let me do another poll. Because the IRS says that a lot of people have come to the realization that they know they're overpaying their taxes, and they like it that way. So they're using this as a forced savings so they can get back that big refund. How many of you guys are voluntarily overpaying your taxes? You know you're overpaying, and you just like it that way because you like the big refund. Anybody willing to admit that, hey, I know I should be doing something about it. I'm just not at this point, but since I get the big refund, I'm cool and I want to keep it that way. Anybody rather get their money all year long and break even at the end of the year, or do you just love the refund so much that you'll struggle all year long financially and then get a big refund and try to catch up, right? Because that's what a lot of people are doing. They are, when they get the tax refund, they pay a lot of bills that they fell behind on throughout the year. Well, guess what? If you had that 10 grand that you gave Uncle Sam, you might not have struggled so much throughout the year. You might not have had to incur some late fees. You might not have had to go get that payday loan, right? And again, you guys know, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know, right? Been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the hat. Got my Black Mama teas going on. She's going to be on the show on Thursday. So you guys want to keep it locked this week. So you just got to understand. So Danielle said, me, I would rather get my money all year long. Because listen, what we tend to do is we treat our tax refund like a reward. No, it's your money. They're just giving you some of it back. We tend to treat our money, our tax refund, like a reward. And not like what it's a refund. Re means again, fund means money. It's your money again. But here's the thing. Here's what I want you to get. We just came into 2018. I want you to go back and look at your last paycheck stub of 2017. And then I want you to look at the total number of year-to-date federal withholdings that came out of your check. Because some of you will look at that number and it might say $9, $10, $11, $12,000 in federal withholdings. And you got $3,500 back and you are excited about that. It's like you gave up 10 to get back 3. You gave up 10 to get back 4. When you could have kept 8 all year long. Right? Says, are you speaking to a certain income base? No, this is all income bases. 80%. The IRS statistic says 8 out of 10 people fill this form out wrong, and as a result, they're overpaying taxes. Right? Rosalind says, I always seem to owe after paying extra to the feds and the state every year. So Rosalind, she says she always seems to owe. Now, I didn't give you guys my disclaimer. I'm not a tax professional. I have some good relationships with a lot of good tax professionals, but I'm not. So this isn't tax advice. This is just us trying to learn and help educate one another, but you're going to talk to your tax professional before you make any moves. So Rosalind, one of the things that that I coach people on is by having a home-based business, you get to allow, by having a home-based business, you get to write off some of your everyday expenses. That's going to bring your taxable income down so that you pay less in taxes. Chances are you making good money on your job. You might not have any children, or maybe your children have gotten older and you don't have enough allowances and deductions. Well, guess what? Having a home-based business gives you over 450 tax deductions that you could claim that can minimize your taxes, man. So if you have not already joined the Black Wealth Movement, that's one reason that you should, so we can educate you on how to do that, right? Yes, it's yeah, had no idea. Yeah, look at your year-to-date taxes that came out of your check, federal, state. Now, you can't do nothing about Social Security, FICA, you know, Medicaid, all that kind of stuff. But the federal and the state, you actually are telling them how much to keep from your check because you have this form filled out wrong. So enter one for yourself, enter one. If you're single, that's basically your status. If you're married, you might want to enter one for your spouse. Then you enter your number of dependents, right? Here's another one that a lot of people mess up on. It says enter one if you had a household. Well, head of household is a single status, right? It's a single person status. And then if you are paying for daycare over $2,000 per year, you claim that on the front end, and more of your money comes back into your household, right? And then G is one that people, this one is a little confusing when you read it, but it says, if you qualify for child tax credit, right? You're going to enter 2 for each eligible child, less 1 for 2 to 4 children, less 2 for 5 or more. And this is one people skip all the time. They just flat out skip it. It says, if you qualify for earned income credit, now this is a 2016 form. I couldn't find my 17, but for this tax year, it said if you make less than 70 grand as a single person, that means you qualify for earned income credit, right? So that means if you have 2 children, for line G, you already put 2 children on line D for number of dependents. You already put your 2 children down. But then on line G, this is how you get your earned income tax credit money all year long and not wait for it until end of February when they decide they're going to release your tax refund if you got earned income. So it says enter 2 for each eligible child. If you got 2 to 4 children, you're going to subtract 1. If you got 5 or more children, you're going to subtract 2. So for me, I have 5 children, 5 sons. So I should put 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 minus 2 because I got 5 or more. So I should have 8 on line G. Most people skip line G altogether because it confuses them a little bit. And therefore, Uncle Sam is taking a big chunk of your paycheck every single pay period. And you got 3 kids, right? Now you sound Cortez, but I got 3 kids, but I get a nice refund check, $6,500, $7,500. Well, what if you just got that money all year long, right? What if you use that money to pay off your car note early, right? See, what we tend to do is not realize we focus on income and not cash flow. And I'm so thankful for my Econ family. That's the company that powers the Black Wealth Movement. Because the founder says, Cortez, it's about cash flow. Once you get some income, that means you got to have a job, right? Got to have a job. Melanie said, I don't skip my line, G. You got to have a job, so you got some income. But once you get some income, you then have to focus on cash flow. And if you guys are just jumping on, go ahead and hit the share button for me. A lot of people need to know this, man. They're missing out on this. And people get on me all the time, Cortez, you tease us with the information, but you don't never give it to me until I join your movement. No, man, I teach on this every day, all day, man. People call me all the time. This is very informative. My kids are grown now. What about empty nesters? Monica, Join the Black Wealth Movement, because when you add a home-based business, that's almost like having a child that never grows out of the house. When you add a home-based business, it's almost like having a dependent, because your business does depend on you, and so you have to spend certain things. You have certain expenses for your business the same way you have for your children, right? So you got to join the Black Wealth Movement, man. We put you in your own financial education business. Then we teach you how these tax deductions affect you. And then we teach you a money and cash flow strategy so you can grow your wealth long term, right? So a lot of people are skipping line G. But if you pay attention to this form, if you do it right, instead of letting them take all of this money out all year long. So the average person who starts a home-based business will save, will bring back into their household anywhere from $200 to $600 per month. Last year, I helped a young man bring back $800 a month back into his household using this strategy. 2 years ago, I helped a couple. Husband was overpaying $300 a month. Wife was overpaying $700 a month. We helped them start a home-based business. We helped them adjust a W-4 form to reflect that they have a home-based business, and it increased their take-home pay by $1,000 per month. They took that money, paid off the wife's car, took that money, got an emergency fund built up, took that money, man, and started really building long-term wealth, right? Got to build long-term wealth. You got to understand that this thing, man, is about cash flow. It's about cash flow, right? It's about cash flow. You got to get some cash flowing in, right? You got to get some income, right? So if you got a job, that's income. Now let's pay attention to your cash flow. See, we as Black people ain't never had no get money problem. We some of the money gettingest people on this planet. We've always had cash flow problems because the moment we get the money, it flows right away from us. It's time for us to stem that, get that cash flow back. So you shouldn't have income, period, because you have no personal income. You owe no personal income taxes, right? That is a wealth strategy that a lot of people subscribe to, and I don't disagree with that. But let's look at the people who have income because they work regular jobs, right? I've been trying for 3 years to get people in a home-based business just to add a business to their job. I don't think we're going to get them to give up their income and become full-time business owners or 1099, which that is a strategy. They could absolutely do that. Some jobs will allow you to say, hey, man, I want the same job. I just want a contract with you. I don't want you to pay me a salary. I want you to pay me as a 1099 so that you can manipulate your own taxes in that way. But yeah, it's tough to get people to even understand how having a home-based business with the job saves them $12,000 to $15,000, let alone the personal income tax deal by not having any income personally. Yeah, operating as a 1099 as a business owner gives you far more benefits than a job. But if you have a job, that means you got income. Now that you have income, let's focus on cash flow. Where is the income going when it comes into the house? Where is it flowing? Is it flowing into something that's going to benefit you long term, or is it flowing into away from you, and you're now having to go borrow money, right? Yeah, that's setting up trust again. Again, the education, Solmatic, it's the education, man. It's the education, right? You can't. It's tough to get people to even wrap their mind around having trust in owning nothing but controlling everything. That's tough. It's a tough sell, right? So I take people in baby steps. Let's just get your money working for you in the current system and the current level of thinking that you're on right now. And then once we get it working in this arena, and then we can graduate them to the next level. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Right. It's just people aren't even close to being there yet. Right. People don't even realize that it's better to have a 1099 than a W-2. Right. So we got to graduate them to understanding, okay, yeah, all of my assets should be in trust where I control them, but I don't own them. You can't even sue me for nothing because I don't have nothing. Right. Valid strategy, but we got to graduate people there through baby steps. Baby steps. So once you get this form filled out, right, it says, how do you feel about IRAs? You know what? When it comes to any investment where my money is sitting and it's not a cash flow asset, right? When it's not a cash flow asset, I don't, if your cash flow ain't right, I'm not about parking money anywhere if your cash flow ain't right. So my mentors coach me to understand that, hey, Cortez, your focus should be cash flow, right? Don't take a little bit of your money and put it somewhere where it's going to work for you long term, when I can take that same money, say for instance, it's $300 a month, $500 a month going into an IRA. I know what that's going to do for me over time, but I also know if I put that $500 a month into my business, how it can affect my cash flow immediately. So when it comes to those kinds of investments, they're not bad, I don't think. I just think that everybody should be focusing on increasing their cash flow. When I get my cash flow up to a certain level monthly, after cycling all of my dollars back through my business, then my business is my number one asset. I build my business to a point where it's kicking out $20,000 a month in cash flow. I can live off 5,000. I can take 5,000 a year and max out my IRAs and my other investments, right? It's just a matter to me of, you have the ability, if you're smart, to make that money create more cash flow for you in the immediate, than making that and then letting it work for you long term over time. Right. So I don't think there's anything wrong with those types of investments. I just think that I'm looking for more cash flow type investments right now. That's where all of my money goes into my business, because I can grow this business, and it's going to for every dollar I invest in my business, it makes my business more profitable, and it kicks out $2 or $3 more dollars. So my cash flow from my business increases every month. Now, does your cash flow in your IRA, or does the value of your IRA increase? Yeah, it does. Right? But it's not a cash flow asset. Right? It's an equity asset. It's going to build equity over time. And there's nothing wrong with those sorts of assets if your cash flow is right. My cash flow, in my opinion, isn't right enough for me to be taking extra money out of my cash flow system where I could be making more money with it and parking it somewhere that is going to grow over time. Right? And I feel that, this year, my business, my initial asset, which is my business, will kick off enough income, enough cash flow to where I can park $5,000 a month into that type of asset, into some sort of equity asset, right? But right now, I'm about cash flow assets. And, everybody has different things, but my mentor said, hey, man, get your cash flow up. Focus on your cash flow asset right now. All of your investments, all of your energy, all of your time, focus out on your cash flow assets right now. And when you build your cash flow to a certain level, you can then take the cash flow, right? So I built an asset, which is my business, which is going to kick off me some more cash. And then I'm going to take that cash and buy some other assets that will kick off some more cash. And I will buy some other assets, and so on and so forth, right? So on and so forth. Because the game is this. Say I start putting that money into the IRA or into a mutual a bond fund or something like that, right? And I start growing that thing to $20, $30, $40,000, right? Then I lose my job, right? Then I lose my job and say I can't get adequate work for 12 months, 15 months, 18 months. What's going to happen to that nest egg that I have been saving? I'm gonna have to tap into it to live, right? On the other hand, what if I was taking that same money that was going into the IRA and I was taking that money and investing it into a business or a cash generating asset and I lost my job? That cash generating asset is still going to keep me generating cash on a monthly basis that I can access, right? With access, right? So Maddox said he would rather buy bonds, right? But again, that's still tying up my money long term. And I'm the type of guy who would rather take that money and invest it into my private business. So the money that I could buy a bond with is not going to grow for a long time. The money I invest in my business is going to kick me out some cash next week. It's going to kick me out some cash next month. It's going to kick me out some cash in 2 months that I can then use to continue to grow that process and keep that thing snowballing until I got enough cash to where I say, you know what, I can peel $3 grand off the top every single month and start investing in some long-term investments, right? Yeah. Some companies offer bonds with high yields. Yep, I agree. So revisit your W-4, right? Revisit your W-4. Yeah, invest in self with confidence, man. My business, my brand is actually moving, right? And it's growing and it's becoming more profitable every day. Like buying tax claim properties and renting them Section 8. Yeah, that would be a form of a cash asset, right? That's money that asset is producing cash, and you want that cash flow to be positive. You want to continue to grow that cash flow, and that's just kind of how I do it. I do building my cash asset. So my 4 pillars that I'm going to build my $1 billion empire on. One of them is going to be real estate. One of them is going to be paper assets. The other one is going to be private equity companies, and the other one is going to be media, which is also a private equity company, but that's the sector that I'm going to be in, media and technology. So you really have to pay attention to cash flow sometimes more than, because some people are saying some people are drowning in debt and they're trying to invest at the same time, right? And again, I just trust my mentors. So Cortez, you drowning in debt. What sense does it make for you to go invest money over here when you got all this debt piled up? Instead of investing, take the money that you're going to be investing and get yourself out of debt. Why? Because that's going to free up cash flow, right? So for instance, if I have $500 a month to invest, if I have $500 a month to invest, I think I do. But at the same time, I got a car note, I got a mortgage, I've got a furniture loan, and I've got credit cards. But I'm taking that $500, which it must be disposable income, right? I take that $500 and I start parking it somewhere. But at the same time, I'm in debt. I'm paying interest on credit cards. I'm paying interest on a car loan, paying interest on a furniture loan. I might have some credit cards, some student loans. So instead of taking the 500 and parking it, why don't I take the 500 and get rid of the car loan? Because when the car loan is gone, now I got 900. Car note was 400. So now I got rid of the car loan. So now I got 900. Now you might be saying, Cortez, well, that's 900. Can't you invest some? I could. But why? I take the whole 900 and pay the credit cards off. Now the 900 has grown to 1,400 because I have no more credit card bills. Take the 1,400 and pay off the furniture loan, right? So now I just freed up $1,800 in cash flow. Don't you think I can catch up to wherever I wanted to be investing? Instead of investing the 500, now I'm investing 800 a month or 1,800 a month. And I don't have the same pressure of staying on a job that I don't like because I'm out of debt. Chances are, when you get yourself out of debt, you might be able to cut down your hours on your job and go part-time. There's a lot of different things that you can do, man. See, I don't like those slow returns because I used to be a hustler in my yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you know that there are ways that you can make thousands per day, it's like, all right, let's figure out how I can, you know, multiply and collapse time when it comes to investment. But I get you so mad at I get you so mad. So so that's why I do you see, I freed up $1,000 by joining my econ. Right now, just think about that. Freed up $1,000 by joining the Black Wealth Movement in my econ. Now he's got $1,000 to play with every single month. Right? He ain't investing with house money. He ain't investing with the mortgage money. He got a free $1,000 every month. Right? And I would bring up my calculator and show you what $1,000 a month would do over time. Right? So I love lessons like this because our people, we're never taught this as children. If we educate, so many of us would. Yeah, absolutely, man. This is why I get up at 5:30 every morning to come hang out with y'all, man. When you know, sometimes that bed be calling me, right? Especially like right now in St. Louis, it's like 15 degrees outside. It's like, man, I want to stay bundled up, man. So real quick, I want to give you some tips from my girl, Yvette D. Best. So I like to say, I'm not a tax accountant, but she is a good friend of mine. She does my taxes, Yvette D. Best. But she said 8 common mistakes that reduce tax refunds. So if you are the type of person that says, Cortez, I don't care what you say, I just love my tax refund. Right? Cortez, I don't care what you say, I love my tax refund. All right, well, let's talk about 8 mistakes that you could be making that could minimize or reduce your tax refund, right? Thank you so, Maddox. Said he appreciates the sacrifice. Thank you. Yeah, because sometimes it get hard on a brother, man. Now it's gotten it's a little easier because my sons get up and go to the gym every morning to you know, they play basketball, so they go and get a little workout in before school. So they drag me out of bed. But yeah, I know I got the show every morning. But I appreciate, man. I love this. We absolutely need this, man. We just need this. Is somebody has got to sacrifice. And I put a quote up on Facebook the other day. I said, rich people get richer because one generation sacrificed to get rich in the first place. I don't know if y'all get rich people. Why do rich people get richer? Because one generation sacrificed to get rich in the first place. And by default, almost by default, when you're rich, you're in situations that will just naturally cause you to get richer. Because when you get rich, you start hanging out with other rich people, and the conversation is different, and the idea is different. The thought process is different. And just by being rich, hanging with other rich people, by default, you're going to get richer because you're listening to people say, hey, you know what? They're about to break ground on this new XYZ over here, and they're looking for investors. I don't get to hear that conversation when I'm poor. When I'm rich, I get the phone calls of pre-IPO companies that are about to launch. You know what? This little thing called Facebook is about to launch, man. They're looking for some investors. You can get in at 10 cents a share. I don't get those conversations when I'm broke. So just by one generation sacrificing to become wealthy to begin with, you're going to continue to get wealthy because your circle elevated, your thought process elevated, your vibration elevates. And you're going to continue to get richer because you're going to be introduced to opportunities that you would not have been introduced to. Right? Crystal said, I'm trying to open a bank and need investors. Right? Since you're attracted to yourself naturally, right? Or somatically, right? You do. So that's why the rich get richer, because one generation has sacrificed to get rich in the first place. And when I say that word sacrifice, I don't mean it loosely, right? Because we know the 4 ways that you acquire wealth in this country. You buy it, build it, steal it, or inherit it. And a lot of it was stolen. Even the stolen wealth, one generation had to sacrifice to make some moves, right? That's why I don't like when people talk about, when I bring up Master P, first thing people do is say Master P sold drugs. When I bring up Jay-Z, first thing people do is say that Jay-Z sold drugs. When I bring up T.I. and the things that he's doing and building his little empire over there, first thing people say is, oh man, he's the street thug. All of them were. All of them sacrificed and did something they ain't had no business doing, but it was a sacrifice nonetheless. And now you think Jay-Z's great grandchildren are gonna care that he sold a drug, that he ran the streets? Now, is it the right thing to do? Is the right thing to say? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, because just like his family is going to be straight for generations to come, there are some families that are going to be in a negative situation because of some of the harm he caused in those communities. I'm not discounting that. But what I'm saying is, you can't judge my brother for getting it how he lived and turning his life around, and you're not going to judge the Kennedys. You're not going to judge the Trumps. You're not going to judge the Rockefellers. You're not going to judge the Rothschilds. You're not going to judge all of these other wealthy families who one generation sacrificed, and they might have ran liquor. That whole generation ran liquor, and then they went legit. And now they got senators and representatives and presidents that came out of their loins. Right? You can't do that. You can't do that. Jay-Z has publicly said, man, if I had to go back and sit down with some of the people who I sold drugs to, I'd have to say I'm sorry, because I understand the detriment that I caused my own people, my own community. I understand that now. When I was doing it, I didn't understand it as much, because I was trying to feed my family. I was trying to live up to a hype that was being fed to me, a bunch of BS that was fed. I didn't understand that as a young man. I understand that now because I got kids. Right? But at the end of the day, a lot of this old money is blood money. And some of us love the Kennedys to death. Right? Out of these old corporations, we know all this, man, this whole thing was built on our backs. But nobody talks about that. But the first thing that come out of your mouth when you see a successful black man, Master P took a $10,000 life insurance check from his grandfather's life insurance, and he flipped it. Did he flip some of it in a drug game? No question about it. No question about it. But now look where he is, and look what he's doing to try to right some of those wrongs. And he went legit. Right? 4 ways you acquire wealth: buy it, build it, steal it, or inherit it. Right? Am I proud about my past? Nah, man, I ain't. But I got caught up in a world that says you should have this, you should be doing this. And there's only one way to get it where I'm from. Right? That's why this whole movement is to change the narrative, because I want to go back to my communities and I want to show the young brother some successful entrepreneurs who are doing it the right way. Because all a drug dealer is a perverted entrepreneur. Selling drugs is a perversion of entrepreneurship. And take me and my crew, and I want to go back to all our old neighborhoods, and I want to set up shop right across the street from the drug dealers. And as they're trying to recruit my young brothers and sisters to come over to their side and do things their way and get money their way, I want to recruit my brothers and sisters and tell them, hey, listen, you got 1,000 followers on Instagram. Let me show you how to get some money off of that before you go over here and do this. Hey, you can sing. I know you see people that want to make you want to get a record deal, but let me show you how Royce the 5'9" did it. Let me show you how some of these other people did it. Went straight to their consumers, built a little fan base of 100,000 people. Now they're millionaires, but nobody knows them. Let me show you how you can take your, see, we just need more of us who are doing it the right way to be right across the street from a drug dealer. So when a drug dealer plants a seed in a young lady's ear and say, you know, you can be out here on these streets getting this money with me, I need a ride or die. I can be in the other ear and saying, you know, you can get some money through this education, through your gifts and talents. You need to be your own ride or die. Right? That's what is that's what this whole thing is. So let me give you this from my girl Yvette book. So this is Maximize Your Tax Refund, 35 Surefire Ways to Get More from Your Return Now. It says 8 common mistakes that reduce tax refunds. Number 1, not understanding when the amount you are spending to get a deduction / credit far outweighs the value of the deduction or credit. So this is one thing that I try to get my business owners to understand. They think that if they start a business for the tax purposes, they think, well, Cortez, if I start a business for the tax purposes, I got to go buy a building. I've got to go rent some space. I got to get separate phone lines. I got to get separate cell phones. I need a business vehicle and all that. Nah, man. Sometimes the amount you're spending on something will outweigh the benefit of the tax write-off. Some people are going into business solely for the purpose of getting a tax write-off. I'm like, no, that's not it. Or they might spend something just because they need it. No, that's not it. You got to understand the difference between how this write-off actually is going to boil down numbers-wise, right? Talk to your accountant about it. There's a certain thing, a certain way that this boils down numbers-wise, right? You might spend $1,000. And it's a $1,000 tax write-off, but what does that actually do to your return number-wise and actual credit to or against you? You got to understand that. That's number 1. Number 2, not being informed about what deductions and credits you qualify for. See, my girl Yvette will talk to me all the time. It's not, she don't talk to me once a year. She says, bro, let's sit down. Let's see where you are this quarter. Let's see where you are this month, because she wants to coach you through understanding how you're affecting your refund with your day-to-day decisions. How are you affecting your refund with your day-to-day decisions? Right? Number 3, not showing your numbers, right? Just like your math teacher told you, show your work. Don't try to shortcut when doing your taxes. Make sure that it is clear on your return that you know what you are doing. If you're doing your own taxes, man, you need to know this stuff, right? You need to get with somebody who's going to help you get this stuff done. Number 4, claiming deductions and credits that you don't qualify for. Right? Like them kids that ain't yours and you ain't took care of. You done bought somebody, you done leased somebody's kids for tax season. Stop doing that, right? Number 5, being loose with your numbers. No, don't give me no roundabouts. No, that's why when you join the Black Wealth Movement, we give you a tool that allows you to create your budget, allows you to record all of your expenses, personal and business, and you can print out a spreadsheet that gives you everything to the specific penny, right? Don't be loose with your numbers. Number 6, trusting untrustworthy people. It's a big way to mess up your tax refund, trusting untrustworthy people. It's a way that you can really reduce your tax refund. They don't know what they're doing. They shouldn't be trusted in the first place, but you give them your numbers, they're fudging stuff, they're making stuff up. You're asking them a question and they're like, oh yeah, I think this is how it goes. We just put it like this and just let it ride. No, we ain't letting it ride. I need to know that you know what you're doing, right? Number 7, not saving for the future, right? Personal economy coach Robert says, make sure that you get your free money, right? Maxing out your 401k, that affects your refund when you're dealing with a tax preparer who knows your retirement tax credits, right? Your retirement tax deduction. Number 8, not keeping records to support your numbers. Not keeping records to support your numbers, right? So maximizeyourtaxrefund.com is where you can get a copy of this. She also gives you a free consultation for a whole hour. I'm like, Yvette, what if we sell 15 books today? She's like, okay. Maximizeyourtaxrefund.com. You get your book directly from her, and you can actually go ahead and get your 1 hour consultation. Again, most people think that taxes are only done once a year. The name of the book is Maximizing Your Tax Refund. I know it's backwards on Facebook. Maximizing Your Tax Refund. 35 surefire ways to get more from your return now. And this is Yvette D. Best. She's on Facebook under Yvette D. Best as well. Most people think that you only do taxes once a year. No, your tax accountant should be your friend, and she should be talking to you, or he should be talking to you at least on a monthly basis, so that you understand how your day-to-day financial decisions are affecting your refund. It says, can you go into the community and give free finance classes to 5th graders, elevate the next generation? I am part of a program called Young Biz Kids here in the St. Louis area, and that is what we do. We actually put these kids in their own business so they can start making money. The purpose of them making the money is so we can teach them money management skills. Once we teach them how to manage the money, then we teach them investment skills, and they learn how to invest the money, of course, starting with investing some of their profits back into their own business, but then investing into their 529 plan and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, we absolutely do as much as I can, man. And if you've got somebody who says, hey, I'll fly you in, man, if you want to do a class, or man, I'm down for all of that stuff, man. I'm down for all of that stuff. So I try to, be where I can and where I'm needed most, as much as humanly possible. So that's it for taxes. Remember, guys, I want you to go to wealth.joincorteznow.com. That's where you can go and get all the details on the Generational Wealth Building Conference. It's going to be phenomenal, man. I looked at the lineup. I looked at the schedule. The Youth Wealth Workshop is going to be killer. Then he's got From Poverty to Prosperity, the women's portion of the conversation, man. So go to wealth.joincorteznow.com. Grab your tickets right there from that site. See all the details of everything that they've got going on. That site is going to be continuing to evolve because they're steady adding stuff. I'm going to get the information up tonight, later today, on how you can participate with the vending opportunity, what it costs if you want to be in the program with business card size ad, half page, full page, all that kind of stuff, man. So there's a lot of ways that you can support this event, even if you're not in the Atlanta area. You can't go to the Atlanta area. Go click on that link, wealth.joincorteznow.com, and send the brother a business card and $20 and just say, hey, man, I can't come to the event, but I wanted to support. Here is $20. Just go ahead and put my business card in the program, right? That's another way that you can support. And then go ahead and share the Eventbrite, share that link to wealth.joincorteznow.com, and that will help get the word out about this awesome event. Again, Evan Jefferson is going to be on tomorrow. He's going to go into great details about what he's got in store and how you can really get the full benefits from this event. I think that's going to be an amazing event. I'm already in Atlanta this week coming up. I'm in Atlanta again for a mountain retreat middle of April. I might just have to make another trip and get there for this event as well. And don't forget, if you want to join the Black Wealth Movement, text Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. We need ambassadors, y'all. We're looking for people that want to learn this information so they can help us get out in the community and teach other Black folks about the power of money capitalism, and how to win in this economic system. So I'm your boy, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur. Until I talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every one of you. Peace out, y'all.